At the end of Parshas Bereshis, the Torah tells us about a fascinating individual. The Torah says, this is in Perek Hey, Pasuk of Dalet, chapter 5, verse 24, Vayishalei Chanoch esa Elokim. Chanoch, individual named Chanoch, walked with Hashem ve'einenu, and he was no longer, kilakach oso Elokim, for Hashem took him. So the pasuk describes two things. The pasuk tells us about this individual Chanoch, and Chanoch apparently was incredibly righteous, incredibly special, as evidenced by the fact that he walked with God. And Chanoch was so special, Rashi explains, that Hashem did not want him to be tainted by the impurity of his generation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu understood that as special and as holy as Chanoch was, had he continued to live in this world that had begun its downward decadent spiral, that Chanoch would be tainted by this generation as well. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took him early. HaKadosh Baruch Hu ended his life earlier than it should have in an effort to maintain the spiritual purity of Chanoch. And the Medrash is bothered by something. Who is this Chanoch? And what did he do that was so special in the midst of this entire genealogy? And in the midst of the story of the downward descent of man, we're told about this guy Chanoch, who is not just okay, who is not just fine, who is great. He walks with Hashem. So what did he do that was so special? The Medrash says something absolutely amazing. The Medrash writes, he made shoes. He made shoes. This was Chanoch's great accomplishment. He made shoes. So you'll ask, why did Chanoch make shoes? So Chanoch observed that people were walking on the ground and they were hurting their feet. So Chanoch said, this doesn't make sense. Why should people walk around and hurt and injure their feet? So he made shoes. And when he made shoes, he brought such incredible relief to the entirety of mankind. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw this incredible contribution, this incredible accomplishment, and therefore the pasuk says, Vayishalei Chanoch esa Elokim. Chanoch walked with God. Why? Because in his wisdom he fashioned shoes for his fellow human beings. And the Medrash teaches us two dramatic lessons. Lesson number one is, if you see a problem, try to fix it. So many times in life we see problems, we see difficulties, we see things that are in a state of disrepair. We look at it, we sigh, we krechts, we say so sad, so terrible, and then we just move on with our lives. If you see a problem, address it. If you see something that is broken, try to fix it. This was the greatness of Chanoch. He saw people stepping on rocks, stepping on sharp objects, cutting their feet, injuring themselves. He could have said, probably like everyone else before him, Ay, Nebuch, what are we going to do? But instead he decides to do something to address the issue. If you see a problem in life, don't be a sire or a krechtzer. Don't be someone who says, oh, so sad, and then just moves on with their life. If you see a problem, roll up your sleeves, try to address it, try to fix it. And lesson number two, that in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sometimes the greatest accomplishments are not the things we do for ourselves, but the things we do for others. The greatness of Chanoch was not the fact that he built himself into someone incredibly spiritual or holy. The greatness of Chanoch was his willingness to do for the other. We often think that the hallmark of accomplishment is something we do in a personalistic fashion. The hallmark of accomplishment is, what can I do for me? How can I build myself up? And of course, that's incredibly important to work on ourselves. But just as important, and perhaps even more important than working on ourselves, is how did I contribute to the other? What did I do for my family today? What did I do for my community today? What did I do for the world today? So often focused on what did I do for me today? How did I grow today? How did I improve myself today? And those are important questions. But more important than all of those questions is, what did I do for the other? Vayishalei Chanoch esa Elokim. Chanoch was beloved by HaKadosh Baruch Hu because he saw problems and he didn't simply lament them. He tried to fix them. And he was the kind of individual who took his responsibility seriously towards the other. He understood that I'm here in this world not only for myself, not only to build myself, not only to improve myself, but I'm here in this world to make a difference in the life of the other. And if we internalize these two concepts, then we too will be zocha to vayishalei esa Elokim, to live a life in which we are privileged to walk with God. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.